Many years ago, a brother in my congregation asked me to go with him in field service and return on a man who had asked him to come back. Well, it wasn't too long after we were there in his house that it became clear to us that he wasn't so much interested in listening to us as he was to convince us that Jehovah's Witnesses was the wrong religion. And he went on to attack Brother Russell. Charles Taze Russell started your organization, and he made accusations about Brother Russell did this and that, etc. And his reasoning was that since Brother Russell was flawed in these ways, that God could not have used him to start the right religion. Well, we took the opportunity to point out his wrong reasoning. And basically, he was saying that God cannot use imperfect men to do his will. Well, think if we applied that to the Bible. Moses failed to credit Jehovah God for the miracle with the water. What are we going to do? Take out the first 5 books of the Bible? David sinned with Bathsheba. We're going to take out most of the Psalms? Peter denied Christ. Well, there goes 1st and 2nd Peter. See, that reasoning really doesn't make sense. Jehovah God does use imperfect people to do his will.
What you just heard was an example of a strawman fallacy. A strawman fallacy is a logical fallacy in which someone misrepresents or distorts their opponent's argument in order to make it easier to attack or refute. John Ekran says that the man in this experience he is relating claimed that God couldn't use C.T. Russell because he was imperfect. Now, since I was not present to hear what the man objected to, I have no way of verifying what the man accused Russell of. But I do know that one of the things Russell claimed was to be God's mouthpiece or representative. And in that capacity, he made many predictions about future events that ended up not coming true. Now, God himself, in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 18, states how he views a person that claims to speak in his behalf a message that turns out to be false. If any prophet presumptuously speaks a word in my name that I did not command him to speak, or speaks in the name of other gods, that prophet must die. However, you may say in your heart, how will we know that Jehovah has not spoken the word? When the prophet speaks in the name of Jehovah, and the word is not fulfilled or does not come true, then Jehovah did not speak that word. The prophet spoke it presumptuously. You should not fear him. Deuteronomy 8:20-22. So the question is not whether or not God can use imperfect people. Every human that God has ever used in the past, other than his Son, has been imperfect. The question is whether or not God will use a person that falsely claims to represent him. To this day, Jehovah's Witnesses use this argument to excuse the errors made by the governing body, claiming that they are just imperfect men trying their best.
But some may say, isn't the governing body made up of imperfect men? Yes, it is. The last perfect person to walk the earth was Jesus himself. There is no perfect person or organization on the globe. But as a longtime faithful brother used to say, this is the best imperfect organization on earth.
But it is a strawman fallacy. If they claim to be guided by God, but the direction they give later has to be adjusted, it was a false claim and proof that it originally did not come from God. Hence, God rejects them, not because they are imperfect, but because they are presumptuous. Look carefully at this picture. Are they not comparing themselves to men in the past that had inspired messages to share with God's people?